Iverson. Bothered by Lou.
I just shot my shot at this little dot. I'm trying to crit that neck on her big neck. My niggas trying to crit.
What's up, YouTube? It's Drew, and I'm back and they come with a big body banger. Today we come to YouTube's 23 video. Now, first things first, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 7K. Now I'm saying today I'm coming at y'all with this top 10 NBA 2K23 builds, at least in my channel, you know, the most popular builds of this year, which y'all seem to like the most, which y'all seem to view the most. I just wanted to compile it as a little bit of a culmination to the year. I'm going to be doing a lot of these, you know, going forward to 2K24, just to wrap up the year in like a poetic type of way, because it's been a pretty great year for me, you know, and I hope that I've helped make y'all year a little bit better too. But with all that being said, without further ado, let's get right into the illustrious, amazing top 10 that y'all really decided. So at number 10, we have point guard Jason Williams. Yes, sir, White Chocolate himself. Y'all really wanted to see White Chocolate. I remember this too. This was like maybe 3 months into college, and I wasn't expecting to get a White Chocolate request at all that soon. So, you know, when y'all did want it, I think I waited like a month to post it, and y'all seem to be really receptive. You know, clearly, since y'all see it's on the top 10 list now, you see 6'1" point guard build, you know, and as we know, White Chocolate, J. Will, amazing point guard, and the way that he shaped passing, the way that he shaped and one type of play style in the NBA. You know, he did some crazy stuff in his time. You know, I believe had he had the right circumstances and been given the right opportunity, he could have been an all-star point guard, you know, perennial, you know, annually. So with this build, you see it is clearly a balanced build, but its main thing is playmaking. You have that 98 ball handling, but you also have the 86 perimeter defense and 85 steal. So it is a pretty good build to play on regardless, you know, and on top of that, although it is 6'1", you have the attributes to make up for your height. You have the ball handling, the ISO, the passing, all of that and more. You see in the shades of, I got J. Will in this, Fred VanVleet and Trae Young. You know, I was actually particularly proud of this build. I thought it was really nice, especially y'all wanting a build like this, because not too many people really request that type of build. Now at number 9, you see we got Ben Wallace. This was also, I like making Ben Wallace builds because it's just a tiny center, you know, it's a vertically challenged center, you know, so with like crazy defense, no offense. But once again, y'all always are receptive to Ben Wallace or a Bill Russell type of build. You know, Bill Russell's an undersized center, you know, and y'all seem to be receptive toward those builds. You see 6'9", 240 pounds, 7'4". Bill Wallace, why I say Bill Wallace, Ben Wallace was built like a Greek sculpture. I don't know, this bro was just strong out of his mind. But you see the notable attributes right here are the 90 close shot, 90 standing dunk, max defense pretty much everywhere, from the blocking to the steals to the deep perimeter defense to the interior defense to the rebounding. Like, that is my favorite part of this build, is that I could just literally just go crazy on the defense, because that's how good Ben Wallace was on the defensive end, and especially on the physicals too, basically max physicals as well. Hall of Fame brick wall, you know, like this is also one of those builds that I actually did like making as well. You know, I'm pretty sure all of the top 10 I like making the builds, but I like the request. You see I go with double rim protecting takeovers, but you know, obviously your takeovers is just mainly going to be glass cleaning and lockdown type of takeovers. And you see in the shades of, I end up getting Ben Wallace. This is, you know, 2 for 2 again, the shades of. Once again, great build, great request. I can't wait to make it 2K24. Also, some of these builds I tweak a little bit, you know, like the Jokic build I tweaked a little bit. The not Devin Booker, whatever. Number 8 is Scottie Pippen. Just know that I tweaked some of these builds around a little bit. Dwight Howard, I just kind of spoiled parts of the list, but that's okay. You see Scottie Pippen right here though, number 33, small forward, 6'8", 7'3" wingspan. I always love making Scottie Pippen builds as well, and they always do really well. Like the ones that always do really well are Scottie, Dennis Rodman, Ja Morant, and then recently especially Jokic. You know, those ones always do well. But you see right here, notable attributes: the 92 driving dunk to get that elite contact dunk package. You know, 81 mid-range shot as well, showing you that although this build is primarily finishing and defending, you can still shoot. And also the 86 perimeter defense and 85 steal with pretty high physicals. So this build was a very all-around build. You know, as we know, Scottie Pippen, all-around player. Without Scottie Pippen, there is no MJ. You know, there is no 6 rings. There is no well, there might be 6 MVPs still, so I shouldn't say that. But there is no like greatest of all time discussion. You know, there's none of that without Scottie Pippen. And I know Scottie Pippen has been on the I hate Michael Jordan reign. You know, granted, Michael Jordan's son is dating his ex-wife. I understand, but still. You see, takeover, you got lockdown, playmaking, shot creating, and slashing takeovers. So this was, like I said, it was an all-around balanced build that should translate well to 2K24, as balance is the new thing. And you see, I got Scottie Pippen in the shades of, so that's 3 for 3. Also got Jimmy Butler and RJ Barrett, a pretty good shades of to have. You see it as a inside the arc scorer. I wonder how they're going to do names next year as well, like if it's going to be, you know, more clear or not. Now, number 7, I got the Kareem AbdulJabbar, so tall that his head hits the text. You see it's a center, right-handed, number 33. You know, 7'2" center. 7'2" center, 228 pounds with a 7'10" wingspan. You know, this is one of those builds that is like really testing the limits of 2K, because as we know, the taller you get, the worse off your player can be at times. But with this build specifically, that did not really change much. You still had an 81 mid-range shot, still had a 96 close shot, 94 post control. You know, you still had a 93 block. Like, you still had all of these notable and respectable attributes to have as a player in 2K at the center position specifically. You know, like I said, wasn't too many things that you really couldn't do aside from just shooting 3-point shots. And if you're making a Kareem AbdulJabbar build, I think you should know prematurely that you don't need to shoot any threes. You know, you're just going to be mainly the mid-range type of player. But yeah, definitely with this one, you know, I wouldn't say it's my favorite center build that I made this year, but it's definitely up there. You know, some of the centers that I made that weren't based on the player were a little bit OP, but that'll be a different type of, you know, video in the future. Takeover, I go with post shot daggers and stuff blocks, but you have access to post scoring, rebounding, and rim protecting takeovers. Another build with pretty large variety in its shades of. But unfortunately, in this build, I did not get Kareem AbdulJabbar in the shades of, but it's cool because I think the attributes speak for itself. As you see with Jakob Poeltl though being compared to this, I don't, you know, 2K's a little bit questionable, and same with Zubac being included in this as well. It's a little bit questionable. Now, number 6, you see Devin Booker. Devin Booker, oh my gosh, he's had a great, like, his rise, like, he hasn't peaked yet. You know, like, if you watch the playoffs last year, he went basically all of the playoffs except for those last 2 games against the Nuggets, averaging like 40 points on 65% shooting. And there was games where he shot like 80% and had 50. Without Devin Booker on that team, the Suns don't push the Nuggets series to 6. That's all I'm saying. It's like Devin Booker had a magnet on the rim and the magnet was attached to the basketball and was just stroking it. Pause. You know, like, it felt like that. And I'm really excited to see how Devin Booker turns out. His defense is becoming a lot better as well. Of course, y'all hate on him because, you know, he was talking trash, but it's warranted. When you score 70 points in your second season in the league, you know, and when you have all these scoring attributes or accolades and all-stars, you have the right to talk, you know. And then his playoff acumen, the way he elevates in the playoffs, he has the right to talk. You see with the takeover though, I go pull up precision and negative impact. You have access to slashing, shot creating, sharp shooting takeovers. Also with this build and playmaking takeovers, you have great post scoring ability. You also have, you know, decent level of defense, decent driving and dunking, you know, but obviously this is a more all around sort of build with focus on shooting. And you see I get Pete Maravich, Jalen Green, and Anthony Simons in the shades of, you know, no Devin Booker, but it's pretty cool. 3-level scorer. And at number 5, we got the Clay 1, 2, 3, 4 rings. You know, always counting his rings on his finger, but it's okay. Shooting guard, 6'6", 220 pounds with a 6'9" wingspan and a solid body shape. For one, Klay gotta stop counting his rings on his finger whenever he get pressed. Like, I understand getting emotional, I understand getting upset, I understand getting tight, pause, about people, you know, saying stuff, talking trash, talking that rah-rah, but at a point, you just gotta suck it up and let it be. You see 94 three-point shot though, 89 mid-range shot. Klay, top 2 shooter of all time in my opinion. Number 1, clearly Steph Curry. 75 ball handling, 75 speed with ball, 92 perimeter defense to get that gold clamps, decent physicals. You know, this build definitely translates very well. It is just a typical two-way sharpshooter. You see spotter precision, pull-up precision with lockdown takeovers available. Nothing special about it, but two-way builds are very underrated. Like, if you get a really good two-way build, you can guard 1 through 5 while also being a threat without even having to dribble. You see I get Klay in the shades of as well, but you won't even have to dribble. You could literally put the ball on the floor, or not even put the ball on the floor. You can literally catch the ball, shoot it, get a green, and drop 40. Now at number 4, Nikola Jokic. Yes, sir, that was the number 4 most viewed number. You see it as a center, right-handed, number 15. You know, I wasn't like surprised by this being in the top 5 by any means. This build specifically, I tweaked a little bit. Notably, I put his weight accurate. Before it was like 247 pounds. I did that for speed purposes, but for here, I put it back to 284 pounds, 6'11", 7'6" wingspan. You see it as a 90 close shot, that 87 post control, 84 mid-range, 83 point shot, 85 pass accuracy, that 80 interior defense, 70 block. You know, this is a very all-around build, but clearly emphasis on its playmaking, you know, very clearly. And then that Hall of Fame brick wall as well. You know, this was definitely a great build, especially for its time, because I made this build earlier on in the year. So normally when I look back on my earlier builds, I kind of think I could have did better right here. I could have changed this, changed that, you know, but seeing how this one played out, it definitely, you know, it definitely worked. You see I go with double post takeover. You have access to playmaking, glass cleaning, sharpshooting, and post scoring takeovers though. And on this one, I don't get Nikola Jokic, but I do get the Montes bonus, which is basically like, you know, if you ever watch Pokemon, he's like the second evolution from Charmel, I forget, you know, the dude, the Char guy. He goes, Charizard is the big dude. I'm a nerd, shut up, let me stop talking. Number 3, Dwight Howard. You see, is a center, right-handed, number 12. This Dwight Howard build was insane. There's no shooting on it. None of that. No shooting. Barely any playmaking. Just straight dominance. It is 6'11", 245 pounds with a 7'6" wingspan. I want you to look at the finishing. Now, the actual dimensions aren't that accurate. I tweaked the wingspan to make sure that I could get elite driving contact dunks. But just look at the attributes. You have basically max finishing, 92 driving dunk, 92 standing dunk, 87 close shot, 88 post control. You got freaking 47 mid-range shot, you feel me? 40 pass accuracy, but that don't matter. You got a 90 interior defense, 70 steal, 93 block, 92 offensive rebound, 93 strength. Like, there is so much going on with this build, and it is just exceptional. It is amazing. It is a great build. In my opinion, a great build. Like, you don't even need to shoot with this build because you're so dominant. You see, I got power back downs and stuff blocks on this build. You see rim protecting, glass cleaning, and post scoring takeovers. Like I said, just a build of pure dominance. This baby Shaq, basically. You know, that is what Dwight Howard was. You see Clint Capella, Bill Russell, and Rob Williams III in the shades of not who I wanted to get. Obviously, I wanted to get Dwight, but I ended up not getting Dwight, unfortunately. Now, coming in at the illustrious rating of number 2, surprisingly at that, the light-skinned warrior himself, Jordan Poole. This was our second most viewed build. I think part of that is because he got punched in his jaw, but still, you know, this is the number 2 build. You see it is 6'4", 194 pounds with a 6'7" wingspan. I believe this was all accurate, especially for his time, but regardless of the circumstances that led to him being the second most viewed, yeah, this build was still very, very, very good, especially as a point guard build. Very good. The 90 driving layup, you know, the 86, 85, you know, shooting, the 87 ball handling. Obviously not that great defense, 70, but still, you know, this was just a pure offensive player, especially at the point guard build. This is definitely one of those ISO cheeser type of builds. I know it doesn't have a 92 ball handling, but it has a high enough ball handling to be one of those ISO cheeser type of builds. So I'm sorry for helping that in 2K. I'm sorry for providing help with the ISO cheeser type of build. But, you know, once again, I think part of the reason that this was second most viewed is that he got punched in his jaw. But granted, last year on 2K22, you know, he also was pretty high in the views, so maybe it wasn't that. You see, I go ankle breaking shots in limitless range, which have access to slashing, shot creating, sharpshooting, and playmaking takeovers. Another build with a pretty wide offensive range of takeovers to choose from. And you see in the shades up, I don't get Jordan Poole, unfortunately, but I get Kenny the Jet Smith, Darius Garland, and Trae Young. Now, coming in at number 1, not surprisingly, Dennis Rodman. Yes, Dennis Rodman is always up there in terms of views. I believe last year he was the second most views. And it's really interesting to me because it's not like Dennis Rodman is anything crazy in 2K. It's just the rebounding. You see the 6'7", 220 pounds with 7'4" wingspan. I think Rodman is just very polarizing, and people either love or hate him because of his NBA career, what he did. Now, with this build specifically, and with all my Rodman builds, it's just literally a pure glass cleaning rim run type of build. This one I gave him a little bit of shooting, so you will at least be able to shoot with the build. If you do know your jump shot, if you are a comp player, you should be able to shoot with this build and get boost. But you know, the notable attributes are clearly its rebounding. It's maxed out rebounding, and then you have the 90 standing dunk. So, or 95, I should say. Let me not undersell it. So, like, once again, like, normally the simpler builds do the best because people just want to see how you're going to make them, you know? Like, that's what I've seen, like, Muggsy Bogues build. That will also do pretty well because people, you know, like to laugh at it. Now, you see I go box out wall and see the future. You quite literally have access to 2 separate takeovers, rim protecting and glass cleaning. But you see in the shades of, I got Dennis Rodman himself. But that's pretty much the end of the video, y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think down below about the top 10 most viewed builds and what your favorite build in particular out of this list was. You know, I think my favorite out of this list is either between Dwight and Jokic. I just love Jokic as a player though, but let me know how y'all feel about it. Dennis was cool as well. I'm assuming some of y'all are gonna say Dennis. And if y'all got to this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But until then, I'm out.